I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the ongoing Operation Health and Wellness series, much to the displeasure of the medical industrial complex. That would be big pharma, big medicine, big insurance, big government. Why? Because this series that Dr. Glidden and I have produced for you and provided for you over the past 5 years is focused on empowering you. Not big pharma, not big medicine, not the medical industrial complex, not big insurance, not big government. You. We provide you information you're not going to get from any other source. And the syndicate does not want one of the top naturopathic physicians in the country, if not the world, Dr. Peter Glidden, discussing these issues with an MD, an allopathic doc like myself. An orthopedic surgeon, served on the front line for 32 years before my retirement. You see, they want Pete and I divided. They want us button heads. Why? Because when we would butt heads, what happens is the information doesn't get out to you. And they make more money, and you get more sick. Which is why they hate what we do, and why one of the reasons why we keep doing what we do to help you. Our website, operationfreedomhealth.com, is available to you 24/7. Full disclosure, purchase of the products that we discuss on this platform does support this platform. We have free information, a tremendous amount of information at operationfreedomhealth.com for you. On you name the condition, it's there. We also have a video free that Dr. Glidden has provided, the 12 bad foods that you need to avoid. Purchase of products on operationfreedomhealth.com. If you when you check out, put the purchase code FREEDOM, discount code FREEDOM, you'll get a 10% discount on your entire order. Why do we do that? Because in this day and age of Bidenomics, of criminal international banking syndicate economics, which is nothing more than a ripoff, and this induced inflation, we're trying to help you every way we can. Providing you information for your health and wellness, providing you products that are the best on the market that you could ever come across to help with your nutritional foundation, and to provide you a discount, a financial discount, so that you can stay out of the medical industrial complex's system. Now, for those of you not familiar with Dr. Glidden, he's, as I mentioned, one of the top naturopathic physicians in the country, if not the world, a great researcher, fantastic author. His 2 books, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, are available on his website, which is also chock full of great information, leavebigpharmabehind.com. Today we're going to discuss the secret nutritional ingredient that you're missing.
Yeah.
And the question is, well, how do you know I'm missing it? I have my own garden, and it's all organic, and I eat healthy. Well, this is all good stuff. And how can you say that there's an ingredient that I'm missing? It's my honor to welcome back Dr. Peter Glidden. Pete, welcome back.
David, it's a pleasure. You know, we talk about big pharma and the monopolization of the medical marketplace and all of the inherent badness from it. But just last week, it came close to home. A friend of mine, colleague of mine, a naturopath, was just visited by the FDA with guns drawn.
Oh. And what was your colleague's offense?
He was promoting hands-on healing. And he had developed a homeopathic medicine which would antidote the net negative effects of the 5 jabs.
Huh.
And that's why. He's a really great guy. He's a big humanitarian. He's one of the smartest people I've met in the last 10 years on the medical side of the coin. And the FDA raided his business, took all of his equipment, all of his computers, copied his phones, went to his house, pointed guns at his kids. It was bad. And the guy did nothing wrong.
And did they do an inquiry before they showed up? Did they say, hey, we got some questions we want to ask you? And he said, no, I'm not going to answer those questions. I'm not going to. None of that. It's just, hi, we're here.
Yeah. Hi, we're here. Look down the barrel of this rifle and comply.
So now what's happening?
Well, I haven't spoken to him. I spoke to him the day after the whole thing happened. He was a little bit in shock. I'm not really sure what the next steps are going to be. But, even if he wins a lawsuit against these people, it's going to be years before he gets any of his equipment back.
And hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It simply won't be worthwhile. So this is, they did the same thing to, history doesn't repeat itself. It rhymes.
Well, it reminds me of our good friends on the surveillance side. Kirk Wiebe and Bill Binney became whistleblowers against the NSA because they felt that the system was being used against the American public. And same thing happened to them. They started providing this information to help people about what was really going on and who showed up. But in that case, this was the FBI, guns drawn. Bill walked out of his shower and there was a barrel of a gun pointed at him.
Unbelievable.
If they already gone through the house with kids in the house and everything like that. Same thing happened to Kirk.
I think the complaint that was on the warrant was that he was selling an unapproved drug. Of course, he wasn't, because it was a homeopathic thing that he was selling, and there's nothing in the homeopathic medicine. There is no material substance in the homeopathic medicine, and it wasn't marketed as a drug at all. But it's good to be the king, and when you are the king, you can do whatever you want with impunity. And this is the thing that I've been telling people about for 35 years. Mm-hmm. And you too. Yeah. It's a self-regulating, self-policing police state in medicine. And you better watch it, boy. Because if you don't toe the line and the FDA or the FTC gets a stick up their butt just because, no reason, your life is going to be made difficult. And you have little to no recourse unless you're, Donald Trump or Elon Musk, and you have millions of dollars to throw at it. So it's a big problem. My heart goes out to the guy because he's one of the most sincere human beings I've ever met. And it's one of the reasons why I liked him so much.
Well, I was just going back in time. I've focused on the prevention side of the equation for 36 years. Yeah. And I got tremendous pushback by every aspect of the medical industrial complex. Big pharma, the AMA, big insurance, big government, for my involvement in trying to prevent people from getting injured, having to use medications, having to go to the doc, having to go to the hospital. It's the same thing. Now, nobody showed up at my house from the government, anyway, with guns drawn.
Yeah.
But I got tremendous heat.
Yep. And, it begs the question, honestly, which is worthy of a conversation, is who made the FDA king?
Yeah.
And why do they get the final say on all things medical? I mean, why? Why? Mm-hmm. While I think there are 29 current lawsuits. Current. I'm not talking about historical ones. 29 current lawsuits on drugs and medical devices which were approved by the FDA. Let's talk about Vioxx, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. You had a hand in that.
Oh, yeah, boy, and that was another thing I got tremendous pushback on.
Yeah, approved by the FDA, and it killed people.
But by the tens of thousands.
Yeah, tens of thousands. And the same thing with Bextra.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And nobody goes to jail.
No.
And nobody wants to, get rid of the FDA or have a restructuring of the FDA because they're doing such a lousy freaking job. They fail and 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 they abuse their power and they remain in power. Mm-hmm. And why? Who made the FDA king is my question. And why are we okay with letting them do what they do in the face of all of their failures. And the only reason that any of this is allowed to happen is because of the big money, and the people that are running the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that secret nutritional ingredient that the vast majority of folks in our country, if not the world, are missing. And how can you be so confident, Pete, that they're actually missing it? Because people say, I eat healthy. What are you talking about?
Well, because I pay attention to the United States Department of Agriculture, which in the 1930s submitted a statement to Congress that said, hey, red alert. This is red alert. This is not yellow alert. This is red alert. This is DEFCON, baby. There should be this many minerals in the soil. There's this many minerals in the soil. This needs to be addressed immediately.
That was 1930s.
In the 30s. I think it was 33, 35. I can't remember. It was
90
in the
years
30s.
ago. 90 years ago.
And they did nothing about it.
Shocking.
And, well, what's the big deal? Well, everything. Because there are 60 essential minerals that the body needs to function.
Mm-hmm.
Body can't make them. Plants can't make them. Animals can't make them. They got to be in the soil or in the water. The only way they get into the water is if they're in the soil and they wash into the water. So these minerals have to be there. And if they're not, your physical body is running on fumes. I mean, it's like your automobile needs 8 quarts of oil, but it's only got 2. That's not going to be very good.
Mm-mm.
Needs 33 pounds of air in the tire. It's only got 10. That's not going to be good.
Nope.
Needs a pint of power steering fluid. It's got a tablespoon. Well, that's not going to be good. It's the same way with the human body. Not enough minerals, illness. But who is that good for?
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the pharmaceutical industry,
Mm-hmm.
who's getting rich on the fact that everybody is sick. And they have convinced people that everybody is sick, not because of the doctor's short-sightedness. It's the patient's fault.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the bad gene. It's your fault.
Right.
It's not my fault. It's your father's fault, your mother's fault, your grandfather's fault. You've got bad genetics. That's why you're getting sick. And it's a lie. But because of the monopoly that's been in place for longer than anybody's been alive, nobody in the general public, well, more and more, but still it's a minority of the general public, are aware that all of these shenanigans are existing, nor are they aware that there are better alternatives to the pharmaceutical method that have been developed and delivered by licensed physicians. They are clueless about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the charade continues. It's all kabuki theater. So all of the food that people eat, well, most of the food that people eat most of the time has net negative physiologic effects. There's chlorine in the water, which causes atherosclerotic buildup in the blood vessels. There's fluoride in the water, which lowers IQ, causes bone cancer. Not enough nutrients in the soil. And the only medicine that your insurance pays for, the only medicine that they practice at your hospital, the only medicine that they do research on at your alma mater, the only medicine that they make TV shows about is pharmaceutical medicine. And pharmaceutical medicine doesn't even attempt to cure the condition. It just throws a drug at the condition to manage it. It's not health care. It's sick care.
Mm-hmm.
It's disease management. And this is the best system of medicine that the 21st century has to offer. You got to be kidding me. I mean, it's a crap show. And, the wheelhouse of modern medicine is surgery. And it's funny because, if you take an objective look at the real advances in medicine in the last 100 years, it's all been in surgery and diagnostic techniques. New surgical techniques, new surgical drugs, new diagnostic equipment, new stuff, man. And it's really, really good. But for everything else, for all of the things that most people go to the doctor for, it's a crap show. And according to Johns Hopkins University, pharmaceutical medicine is the 3rd leading cause of death. I think it's the leading cause of death. I crunch the numbers differently. But even if we're, going to get lost in the semantics of that statistical argument. The facts are clear that in the last 100 years, chronic disease is escalating.
That's right.
Life expectancy is getting shorter.
And it's not an accident, and it's not a coincidence, and it's not from incompetence, right?
It was a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so vast and so overarching that most people can't
get their heads around it.
It's like, that can't be true.
No.
That can't be true. But
so one way to circumvent their plan is to become nutritionally sound.
Yeah, so this is the thing, and this is, I think, one of the best kept secrets.
Yeah.
At least. I've had a number of, like, eureka, come to Jesus moments in my professional career over the last 35 years. You know, it's like the fella said, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're open-minded enough to embrace the new paradigm, you're in a whole different world. And that's happened to me 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
One of the times that it happened to me was when I started mentoring with Dr. Joel Wallach, who, by the way, he was in charge of a $25 million research project that happened because of an environmental disaster in Japan called the Minamata disaster, where there was a factory that was dumping tons, literally, of liquid mercury, just dumping it into Minamata River. Tons of mercury. Mercury flowed downstream, went into Minamata Bay. The algae sucked it up. The little fish ate the algae. The medium-sized fish ate the little fish. The big fish ate the medium-sized fish, and the villagers ate the big fish. Everybody in Minamata was poisoned with mercury. Everybody got sick. A lot of people died, and the children that were born were like Frankenstein. 3 legs, half a brain, 1 eye. It was bad, man. It was so bad that National Geographic, remember National Geographic?
Yeah, I do.
Usually in an edition of National Geographic, which came out every month, there were like 5 articles.
Right.
When Minamata hit, the entire National Geographic for that month was devoted to the Minamata disaster. That's how bad it was. And it sent a shockwave through the then, less manipulated by the cabal scientific community. This was not a government-sponsored program, by the way. This was just a group of concerned individuals with deep pockets. They said, holy crap, man, if mercury can do that, what about all the other crap we're dumping into the... We need to figure this out. So they raised $25 million, which in the 80s was a lot of money compared to today, right? And they sent Dr. Wallach all around the world to do comparative studies on animals that were in zoos, living in urban areas, exposed to the same crap that we are, and their counterparts in the wild. And then they did a whole bunch of, I think, 80,000 comparative autopsies on humans. 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies over the course of 10 years. It was a gigantic freaking project. And the intention of it was to figure out what the net negative effects of pollution have on human health. And halfway through the research, they almost stopped it because they had an unusual discovery, which was the only time environmental pollution was a thing, was if it was a big dose, like at Chernobyl or Minamata. But for normal stuff that, like seeps into the environment, we're good. The human body can handle it. But here's the kicker.
You got to be nutritionally sound.
Yeah, but they stumbled in this research. They stumbled over something that they weren't even looking for. So we're okay with pollution at, like the levels we're finding it. But wait a minute. If you don't have enough vitamin C, you don't have enough calcium, you don't have enough selenium, you don't have enough of the 90 essential nutrients, you're going to get sick and you're going to die.
You can't fight it off.
This was a big deal. It was a big, big, big breakthrough. And the research, by the way, which was the result of all of this, it's a national treasure. It's in the Smithsonian Institution, the research. But very few physicians know anything about it because nobody's taught medical nutrition. Right.
Right.
So that's how I know $25 million of research. It's now in the Smithsonian Institution. 10,000 autopsies, millions of blood chemistries and histopathologies. It's a thing. Your body, there are 90 essential nutrients that your body needs. Mm-hmm. And if you do not get them on a regular basis, something's going to break. And it's not because you have a bad gene or because of the chemtrails or because you're getting older. It's because you ran out of the stuff that your body needed to keep itself healthy, period. Mm-hmm. End of story. Mm-hmm. Now, right, there are other things that have net negative effects on health, like there are foods that you shouldn't eat. If you do eat them, you're going to hurt yourself. There are stressors that you should protect yourself against. You don't want to shovel your driveway in 0 degrees centigrade weather in your bathing suit. You're going to get hurt if you do that, right? Mm-hmm. So, but the biggest stress that has a net negative effect, almost immediate, on your overall health is nutritional deficiencies, with an emphasis on minerals. Because minerals are 2/3, 66% of your body's needs. And, you can get some vitamins and some amino acids and some essential fats from food, but you get the minerals. You don't get the minerals because they're not in the soil. Oh, and here's the kicker. The plant needs, I think, 6 minerals to grow. Mm-hmm. So that's why the farmers put NPK on the soil, sodium, phosphorus, and potassium. Well, that's great, gentlemen, but there's 57 other minerals that you should be putting on the soil. I'm glad you're putting 3 on it just to keep the plant alive. But when you spray the plant mm-hmm. with glyphosate, mm-hmm. it's why I'm looking for a word, David, the thought process that went into this mm-hmm. is genius. This was done on purpose to make people sick because mm-hmm. minerals are a big deal. Not enough minerals in the soil, some minerals though, or the plant would be dead. So what are we going to do about that? Well, we're going to make a chemical that we're going to spray on every plant in the world called glyphosate. It's an herbicide. And that chemical is going to leak down into the soil, and it is going to disrupt the process through which the roots of the plants absorb the minerals. So now the plant absorbs fewer minerals that are in the soil. So it's driving mineral deficiencies in the food, which, mm-hmm. by the way, is why they need to add sugar to the food, because a minerally deficient plant tastes like crap and attracts bugs, by the way. Mm-hmm. So long story short is, unless you are actively supplementing with a mineral supplement, and you need 60 of them, not just 1 or 2, mm-hmm. your body's minerally deficient, and it's only a matter of time until something breaks, and it has nothing to do with nothing other than mineral deficiencies. And here's the good news. If you intervene in time, before the dam has burst, your body will fix it. Mm-hmm. Because it wants to. It's trying to. All of the time. And this is the fundamental naturopathic supposition that your body wants to fix itself. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body's trying to. But it can't make things out of thin air. You need to breathe air. You need to drink water. You need to eat calories. You need minerals, period. And if you don't, you're going to die. But before you die, you're going to suffer, and then you're going to go bankrupt, and then you're going to die.
Well, and to prevent all that, we have our websites, OperationFreedomHealth.com, LeaveBigPharmaBehind.com. On OperationFreedomHealth.com, we have more information. You have extensive information on LeaveBigPharmaBehind.com on your site, but we also on OperationFreedomHealth.com, we have extra information there. We have the products, in particular these 90. So people say, how do I get the 90? Well, we've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. Foundation pack. Now, to those folks, and part of that foundation pack, there are 4 components to it, is the mineral component. Yep. Now, there are some folks that say, well, there's some financial issues here. Can I just get the minerals? Well, yeah, you can just get the minerals, and that's available on the website. As you said, it's 60 of the 90. Right?
And ironically, the mineral part of the pack
Yeah.
is the least expensive part of the pack.
Right.
Because, we dig them out of the dirt. It's not that hard. There's a deposit in Utah of humic shale, which came from dinosaur days.
Mm-hmm.
And the humic shale is 99.999% plant-derived minerals. It's the minerals that the dinosaur plants sucked out of the ground for millennia before the asteroid hit and everything went dark and all the plants died. And, the cellulose and the sugars and the fibers in the plants will decay and decompose, but the mineral won't.
No.
So the stuff that's in the minerals that we recommend is 100% organic, plant-derived minerals from way, way back in the day. And it's an unbelievably effective nutritional supplement. And honest to God, it's like $22, I think, a bottle. It's crazy. I mean, how inexpensive it is. I mean, I just spent $20 on a car wash, for goodness sakes, right? So we've got your back in a lot of different ways here. Number one, with information that we provide, which is clinically verified, science-based, and also with product availability. And, I mean, who knows what's going to happen next? But they're available now. So you should get them now and slam these doors and kick these tires. And oh, by the way, we gave these products over the last 9-10 years to 10,000 people. All different walks of life, all different health complaints. 10,000 people did what I told them to do and what Dave told them to do, what our colleagues told them to do. And 83% of them recovered their health. 83%. 83%. That's a huge number, and that's unheard of in big pharma land. And that's speaks to the majesty of nature and the ability of the human body to fix itself once it's messed up. And this is how we do it. We give the body what it needs, we get the heck out of the way, and we see how far back it bounces.
OperationFreedomHealth.com. Educate our listeners, Pete, on LeaveBigPharmaBehind.com.
Well, tons of information on my website, all clinically verified, about what myself and my colleagues have actually done historically in order to make people healthy. There's a common misconception in modern medicine, which is generated by the monopoly, that healing is a complicated process. It's not. Surgery is. But I do not recommend you try to replace your wife's shoulder by yourself. It's probably a bad idea.
Could be a problem, yeah.
But healing the body is relatively easy because your body wants to fix itself. I mean, your body grew itself all by itself from a single cell into you. So your body knows how to fix itself. And on my website, LeaveBigPharmaBehind.com, I have information that walks you right through how to do that. And it beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
It surely does. And your books are also available there, correct?
Well, one of them is. The other one was banned. I'm in the process of rewriting it. And so by the end of the summer, I might just write a third book instead. I don't really know yet. But one book is available, and everybody should read it. Everybody is sick, and I know why.
Yes, you do. Pete, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. And I'd like to thank you folks for joining us. Until next time, Dave Jandis signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.